Why am I suffering? Every human being suffers in this material world. No one can claim he is not suffering. This is not possible. In this material world, there are three kinds of suffering: Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidevika. These are miseries arising from material body, mind, from other living entities, from the forces of nature. We may suffer mental anguish, or we may suffer from other living entities, from ants, mosquitoes, flies, or we may suffer due to some superior power. There may be no rain, or there may be flood. There may be excessive heat or excessive cold. So many types of suffering are imposed by nature. Thus, there are three types of miseries within the material world, and everyone is suffering from one, two, or three of them. No one can say he is completely free from suffering. What is the problem of our lives? That we do not know. Modern education never gives enlightenment about the real problem of life. That is indicated in the Bhagavad Gita. Those who are educated and are advancing in knowledge should know that what is the problem of life. This problem is stated in the Gita. One should always see the inconvenience of birth, death, old age, and disease. Unfortunately, no one pays attention to these problems. When a man is diseased, he thinks, all right, let me go to the doctor. He will give me some medicine and I will be cured. But he does not consider the problem very seriously. I don't want this disease. Why is there disease? Is it not possible to become free from disease? He never thinks that way. This is because his intelligence is very low grade, just like of an animal. An animal suffers, but it has no sense. If an animal is brought to a slaughterhouse and sees that the animal before him is being slaughtered, he will stand there contentedly eating the grass. This is animal life. He does not know that the next time it will be his turn and he will be slaughtered. I have seen it. In a Kali temple, I have seen that a goat was standing there ready to be sacrificed, and another goat was happily eating the grass. Similarly, Maharaja Yudhishthira asked by Yamaraja, "What is the most wonderful thing in this world? Can you explain?" So Maharaja Yudhishthira answered this. The most wonderful thing is that every moment one can see that his friends, his fathers, and relatives have died, but he is thinking, I will live forever. He never thinks he will die. Just an animal never thinks that the next moment he may be. Hello, Prabhu, can you take it up?
You can see it now.
Yeah. Where am I now? And he may be slaughtered. He is satisfied with the grass, that's all. He is satisfied with the sense gratification. He doesn't know that he is also going to die. My father has died, my mother has died, he has died, she has died. So I will also have to die. This is what after death. What is after death? I do not know. That is the problem. People do not take this problem seriously, but Bhagavad Gita indicates that the real education is to inquire why. Although we do not want to die, death comes. This is the real inquiry. We do not want to become old men. Why does old age come upon us? We have many problems, but this is the sum and substance of all of them. Hare
Thank,
Krishna.
thank you, bro. So the sages of India had developed a different kind of civilization, which enabled them to know themselves. They had discovered that we are not at all material entities, but that we are all spiritual, permanent, and indestructible servant of the Absolute. But because we have, against our better judgment, chosen to completely identify ourselves with this present material existence, our suffering have multiplied according to the inexorable law of birth and death, with its consequent diseases and anxieties. These suffering cannot be really mitigated by any provision of material happiness, because matter and spirit are completely different element. It is just as if you took an aquatic animal out of water and put it on the land, supplying all manners of happiness possible on land. The deadly suffering of the animal, um, the deadly suffering of the animal are not capable of being relieved at all until it is taken out of its foreign environment. Spirit and matter are completely contradictory things. All of us are spiritual entities. We cannot have perfect happiness, which is our birthright. However much we may meddle with the affairs of mundane things, perfect happiness can be ours only when we are restored to our natural state of spiritual existence. This is the distinctive message of our ancient Indian civilization. This is the message of the Gita. This is the message of the Vedas and the Puranas. And this is the message of real Acharyas, including our present Acharya Dev in the line of Lord Chaitanya. This is adapted from the Science of Self Realization, chapter 2 and 5. So, today's session talks about why we are suffering. So, sometimes we think that maybe if we'll get a lot of wealth, then we can be happy. So, recently, one of the news you might have heard, the chairman of the Vedanta Group, Anil Agarwal. So his son, so he was having a lot of wealth, enormous wealth. Um, his son was doing some adventure sport, and he had an accident and he died. And now his father was in great depression, great anxiety. So it's not that because he has a lot of wealth, he was free from the four major problem which are indicated by the Lord. The real problem of the living entity here in this material world is birth, old age, disease, and death. And this is common for everyone. Whether one is rich, whether one is poor, this problem is there with everyone. It's not that a rich person, if he will become deceased, he will suffer less because he is rich, and a poor person will suffer more. No. In reality, sometimes the rich people, because they will go to very uh, costly, uh, luxurious hospitals, and these hospitals are very much expert in extracting money out of people. So they will put more and more injection every day, more and more blood is being taken out, more and more experiment are being done in those over those patients. So they suffer is even more than compared to what a poor person will suffer. Because how hard one may try, um, like we already discussed, the time of or the breaths that one can take is already defined. So like one cannot increase or decrease even a single breath. So so from that perspective, when one has to die is already being decided. If he'll go to very luxurious hospital, that will not ensure that he will live a minute more than what he's destined to live. The only problem he'll have, if because he is having a lot of wealth, he his death will be even more painful, because he is thinking that for last 40, 50 years I'm working so hard to acquire this all, but now I cannot enjoy it. So from that perspective, we can see, so this son of this Vedanta chairman, Anil Agarwal, he has died and he has got into great depression. Ultimately, there are news headlines that ultimately he relieved some solace in Krishna consciousness. He visited ISKCON, in the teachings of Krishna, he got some solace, and then he donated 75% of his wealth. So the point is that whether one is rich or poor, the four problems, birth, old age, disease, and death, will be there. And the real intelligent human being is one who, rather than working on the temporary problems, that how I will eat nicely, how I will sleep nicely, how I will mate nicely, because all these other things, sleeping, eating, mating, defending, even if an animal or bird who cannot think about future as well, they also have surplus supply. They also can eat nicely, sleep nicely, mate nicely. There is no problem on these aspects. So, a human being, if they will utilize all their energy just thinking how they can eat nicely, how they can mate nicely, how they can sleep nicely, then that is the waste of human effort. Because all these things are, you can see, is almost free. Eating is almost free. In reality, the definitely here in Canada, because of all these political aspects, taxes and all things are very costly. Otherwise, in India, you will see, even though India is considered a poor country, but there are so many temples feeding prasadam 24 cross 7 to everyone. In Mayapur, for example, you can go Gada Bhavan, they are feeding the prasadam to everyone, all the poor person, every time. The only they have put just one condition: if you attend Mangala Aarti, you will get the coupon. Then you can eat prasadam as much as you want. So Krishna can supply unlimitedly. Actually, there is no problem. This eating, sleeping, you can sleep if you are fatigued, if you have worked hard throughout the day. Automatically sleep you will get. Then it will not discriminate whether you are lying on a normal cushion or whether you are in a seven-star hotel in a very luxurious cushion. The quality of sleep will not change. Sometimes you'll see the poor people, because they work so hard, they sleep better compared to rich people. Rich people have to take so many sleeping pill and all, even though they have the luxurious beddings, luxurious bed, luxurious atmosphere, but they cannot sleep. So sleeping, eating, mating, what to speak about human being who has limited ability to mate. There are pigeons. Every hours they can mate. They can mate 12, 14 times in a day. So just to mate, if you are utilizing your human body, that's of no use, because that is something you can do better even in animal life. And the pleasure is all the same. Pleasure is something that you derive out of your body. The pleasure of mating, it's told like just like a camel. So camel, he has this tendency to eat thorny bushes. So the point is that this thorny bushes, they appear to him very palatable, very delicious. So, but the point is that whenever he took these thorny bushes in his mouth and he started chewing it, these thorn, they will puncture his gums, and then the blood started coming. And this taste of his own blood looks very palatable to him, and that's why he starts chewing on these thorny bushes. But he is actually enjoying his own blood. Same is the case with mating of an human being. He may be thinking he is enjoying another body, but actually he is enjoying just because his semen is secreted, and that semen, one drop of semen requires so much of blood, like 40 drops of blood get transformed into one drop of semen. And during this sexual intercourse, he'll lose so much of his semen. So much of his energy is being drained. So in reality, his own blood come out and he's enjoying that. So that is not the real enjoyment. And material enjoyment, it is definitely, it has its own saturation point. From material thing, if you try to derive any pleasure, so for example, if there is a gulab jamun, one gulab jamun you will eat, eh, you will enjoy, you'll think it's very nice. Two you will take, you may enjoy more. Three you will take, then you will, then that is fine. Then four, five, six, seven, then you start to feel, oh, I'm done. Then also there is a gulab jamun only being served to you you're asked to again take that, and that after 10, 12, 20, you will feel, oh, I'm saturated. Then also if they're feeding you, then you will feel you are pukish. And then further, if you are being feeded with the same gulab jamun, then you become so saturated that you will decide that maybe for next 6 months I'll not even look at gulab jamun. So this is the reality of material enjoyment. You may it has a limit. The same thing you consider I'm enjoying. After sometimes you feel it's the most boring thing. That's why you will see that sometimes people think that, oh, if I'll have wealth, then I'll enjoy more. Some people get wealth, then also because this body has a limitation, they can see that, oh, with this body they cannot enjoy more. Then they turn into how they can enjoy more with these limited senses. Then they take the help of intoxication, like either they will take liquors, cigarettes, and then further more intoxication like drugs to enjoy this body. But the more and more they take, the more and more they become frustrated. And sometimes you will see that so many wealthy people, new singers, musicians, actors, even though they have everything, wealth, fame, and everything, they try to enjoy their body to the limits, and then they die of drug overuse, drug abuse. Because this body is a limited, body is very much limited. You cannot enjoy it too much with this body because this body is material, made up of matter. It has its limitation. So Bhagavad Gita tells us that there is no other problem. There are just these four problems: birth, old age, disease, and death. And that is the problem which is common with everyone. Whether one will become very wealthy, one may become a Steve Jobs, then also he will have disease, he will have to ultimately die. Or whether one will remain a poor person, then also he have to become old, diseased, and has to die. So that is the real problem. One should see that how I can end this four problems. And that is the real inquiry. Any other thing, how I can sleep nicely, with how much comfortable bedding, in which country I should go and then sleep nicely, um, how I can eat nicely. These all are not the real subject matter. In any part of the world, you can sleep, eat, mate, defend. That is not an issue. The real problem is that how I'll change my life situation so that I can come over these four problems: birth, old age, disease, and death. And that is the real inquiry. So, human beings should not act like there is an example given of a goat in a slaughterhouse. And many times, even if you have seen in India, there is a public execution of these goats. Um, you can see that these goats are kept into a cage, and one of the goat is taken out, and in front of all the other goats, that goat is getting slaughtered. But then also all the other goats, they may have their grasses in their cages, and then they are busy eating their grasses. They cannot see that one goat is taken out from this cage and is getting slaughtered. Next will be my turn. They cannot think. But suppose if there is a prison house, there is one person is taken out from that prison house and is being slaughtered in front of all the prisoners. And other prisoners, even though they may be offered very nice, palatable dishes, they will not be able to eat nicely. They can understand, oh, I am the next. I am going to get slaughtered next. And this is the human intelligence. Human intelligence should be little advanced than compared to animal intelligence. But we are all in this slaughterhouse of this material world. Every day we see this person died, that person died, this person just going out, has been hit by an vehicle and has died. This person got some disease and he has died. So every day we see that people are dying, but we are living as if we are never going to die. And just this very short span of time, like 40, 50 years is considered like human's lifespan. Because initial 20 years, when he's a kid, then he's doing his education, student life. He cannot even think before that these 20 years are past. Remains are like 20, 50 years. And those 50 years, we are just wasting that how we can eat nicely, sleep nicely, defend nicely, then that is sheer wastage of human intelligence. And that is the same question raised by Yaksh, to Yudhishthir Maharaj, that what is the most wonderful thing that you can see in this material world? And Yudhishthir Maharaj has replied that the most wonderful thing in this material world is that every day we see that either some of our friend has died, some of our relative has died. In newspaper as well, we see so many people have died. Like we hear of everyone dying, but still we are living as we are never going to die. And this is something which surprised me. So that is the reality. So we all know ultimately that, oh, we have limited lifespan. Even though you may acquire a lot of wealth, but a little dysentery, you may develop like some food poisoning, you may develop um if you will uh, stomach upset, and then you will pass stool maybe 5, 6, 7 times, then your body may be finished by that time. What to speak of that? Small minor incidents can finish this body. This body has no capability. Like you might have heard about husband of Karishma Kapoor, Sanjay Kapoor. He was playing golf and accidentally he swallowed bee, because in golf we are playing in open and there are grass and bees. So accidentally he swallowed bees, and that bees, because it was a living bee, it has goes inside his body and bit him internally. And because of the internal biting of that bees, internal poisoning, he immediately collapsed and then suffered severe cardiac arrest because of the immune reaction and died on the spot. Having so much wealth, just swallowing a bee and immediately finished. What to speak of that? Like every moment, any point of time, one can be thrown out from this position of human life. So rather than wasting all our effort in just how we can earn nicely, how we can save more and more money for our future generation, we should focus on something which is the most important thing. That how we can end this cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. And that has already been explained. That has already been given in Bhagavad Gita. That you are a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, and you can only be happy in association with Krishna, in relationship with Krishna. So we are all here in this Kuntha planet. So material world is known as Kuntha planet. Wherever you will remain in an anxiety. Whether you stay in India, whether you will go to Australia, whether you will go to Germany, whether you will go to Iran, Iraq, US, Canada, wherever you will stay, it's a place of Kuntha and anxiety. Same is the case even if you will go to higher planetary system or lower planetary system. You will become an Indra. Then also you will remain anxious that, oh, other person is doing this meditation, whether he's after my position. Let me send some apsaras to disturb his meditation. So, so everyone is thinking, oh, my material opulences, if anyone can, if other can take, or there are demons who will keep attacking. Um, Ruling of Indra, and then he's disturbed, or whether you will go to lower planetary system. In lower planetary system, there is so much of disturbance, so much of miseries given to the human being that they cannot even think about Krishna. And in this material world, there are balance of miseries and happiness. If one want, one can think about Krishna, and the lifespan is also very little, very less. If one can do little devotional services in this lifespan of 50, 60 years, 70 years, then one can immediately go back home, back to Godhead. And that is the greatest advantage of this earth. And that's why even the demigods, they very much um, hanker to take their birth in this material world, in this earth especially. So the main aim is that from these Kuntha planet, all these material universes, one should go to the Vaikuntha planet. Kuntha means an anxiety. Vaikuntha means places which are free from an anxiety. And these places which are free from an anxiety are known as spiritual world. So we are all actually are an entity from the spiritual world because we are actually spirit soul. We are in reality spirit soul, and that's why this body is just a material covering. So how hard you may try to satisfy this body, you will not get satisfied. That's why we see so many people who are very rich and all, but ultimately they are taking medicine for depression or they are into depression. Why? Because they really don't know that they are the spirit soul. So they don't feed the soul. They're just thinking that polishing the cage. There is a story of golden cage and then there is a bird inside. So they're just polishing the golden cage. They're not taking care of the bird. That's why they go into depression. They go into an anxiety. Sometimes they commit suicide. This all problems are there because they don't realize that they are the spirit soul part and parcel of Krishna. Somehow, because of the desire to enjoy in separation of Krishna, they have come to this material world, but their father, Krishna, he has not, it's not that he has forgotten about all the living entities. He is still remembering them. And he's just waiting for any opportunity to call them back home, back to Godhead. Because in this material world, he can see that how much he's suffering. Sometimes he's taking men's body, sometime woman's body, sometime in this country, in that country, sometime animal, bird, beast. Sometime he become tree and standing in severe winters for hundreds and hundreds of years. So sometime taking body of an animal getting sacrificed by a human for flesh consumption. So Krishna can see that how much living entity is suffering in this material world, and he is waiting for them to return back home, back to Godhead. And that's why it's our prime responsibility that if we have got this human form of life, we should work for that thing which is permanent, not for the temporary things. So you can see that we are conducting this Bhakti Rickshaw. People can join it and take the ultimate benefit, but they're just running after some temporary things which they cannot take them with themselves. And that's how like they're wasting this human form of life. Even though all opportunity is being provided by the Lord, but people are so much under ignorance that they cannot take even this opportunity. So by design, because this material world means, so this is a place which is also known as uh, this is a place which is also known as uh, jail, material jail, and the superintendent of this jail is known as Durga. Uh, so Durg means jail, and Durga means superintendent of jail. Just give me a minute. So, so Durga, if we see the picture of Durga, then we can see that Durga Devi is carrying a trident. We all might have seen that she's taking Trishul trident, and that trident represent that there are threefold miseries that is always inflicted by Durga Devi, material energy of the Lord, on the living entities. and they are known as Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik, about which we can see in this first paragraph. So that means if a living entity stays in this material world, apart from these four problems, that is birth, old age, disease, and death, she will inflict three more problems, that is Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. So Adi Devik is just like severe cold, which we are all facing right now, so much of snow, or in India, like severe heat in the summer season, or similarly in Dubai and all, so much of heat. So this all is known as Adi Devik, or there are sometimes natural disturbances, like there is a flood, there is a tsunami, there is a drought, so many things, earthquake, volcano eruption, so many things. So these are all problems inflicted by nature are known as Adi Devik. Then Adhyatmik, from your own body and mind, you suffer. Sometime from your own mind itself, even though everything is fine, you start thinking, oh, if this will happen, then what will happen? Or you will go into depression and anxiety, thinking about future, what will happen next, how you will be able to maintain yourself, what will happen if this disease will come to you, all these things. So this is known as um, Adhyatmik. So Adidevik, Adhyatmik, Adibhautik. Adibhautik means trouble given by other living entity. You are sitting nicely, and then there is some terrorist, he will come. He'll start shooting people unnecessarily. Then, or you may be sitting peacefully. Some of your boss started creating some problem in your life because he's suffering, he'll start giving all the tension to you. Sometimes some relatives start giving you trouble. Sometimes some other living entities, like even there may be mosquito bites, you will develop um, dengue or some other malaria, some other diseases, or there is some virus, COVID virus or flu virus, any kind of virus. So some other living entity will start giving you some trouble. So Adibhautik. So these three problems, Adidevik, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik, these are all given by Durga Devi to all the living entities, apart from the four common problems. So we should work on these four common problems, that how we have to come over this birth, old age, disease, and death. So even though birth, old age, disease, and death will be there, sometimes we think that, oh, if someone has wealth, at least all the other problems he will be safe from. No, that's not the case. Adibhatik, Adhyatmik, Adidevik, these problems will also be faced upon all the living entities, irrespective of how much wealth they have. If you have more of wealth, you will fear more that, oh, what will happen if income tax raid will be there, or there will be some kidnapping of my son or daughter for the ransom, or maybe I'll suffer from some financial frauds and lose all the wealth, uh, or maybe I'll do some miscalculation on the tax, or there may be strike by all the labor union. So all sort of mental problems, or by some different living entities, or from from the climatic condition itself. All these problems you also have to face. So the point is, like, even though you will suffer from, you will travel from a normal average car, or you will travel from a BMW Audi, you will have to face the same road condition. If there is a traffic jam, whether you are from an using a normal car or whether you are using an Audi or BMW, everyone has to get stuck in the same traffic jam. So same is the case. Whether you are poor or rich, there are these three problems, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, in different form, which are given by the Durga Devi to you. And sometimes we may question why Durga Devi is giving us all these troubles. So the answer is the same way. if a child is very much uh, impudent, if child is very much against his father, so sometimes a children become very disrespectful full toward the father. If father will come, then also he'll talk in a harsh manner, or he'll disrespect his father. So mother, there is an obedient mother, she will try to correct the behavior of the child. So sometime she put the child into a locker, into a locked room, or will not give him food, or will not give him water, that his, or will give some beating to the child, so that child will come into his senses. So same is the case. Durga Devi, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, um, so they're like the wife to the Lord. And when they see that people at all, they don't have any respect for the Lord, uh, no respect for doing devotional services, then they're being chastised by the mother. So Durga Devi, like a mother, she has this duty to punish those. So she took it as her duty to punish the living entities who are disrespecting the Lord. Because trying to enjoy in separation of the Lord, being here in this material world, being always kicked by the mother Durga, then they realize, oh, we are in such a precarious situation. So she is kicking actually for our own good only. So we may be thinking, oh, why so much of trouble is coming our way? Because by design, this material world is made in such a way that this is temporary and full of miseries. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. That is the word used for this material world. And this material world is a place where death take place. So that's why it's known as Mrityu Loka. Everyone is born to die. And when the platform of all the happiness which we think this body, the platform from which we are thinking that we'll enjoy everything is born to die, then how we can get happiness in this material world? Because ultimately everything will be finished. So how much hard we may try, ultimately this body is going to get finished. Before being finished, it start to become old. We don't want, but our hair start falling. We start developing baldness. We start developing gray hairs. Our teeth start decaying. Sometime our joints, body joints start paining. Uh, Different kind of diseases we start to develop. Why? Because this body is made up of matter. It's a temporary platform, and just this temporary platform is given so that we can focus our attention toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead and go back home, back to Godhead, and for no other purpose. Not for the purpose of accumulating so much of lands and all. Why? Because this land which you may have purchased right now, millions of times the transaction of the same land is already being taken place. Before you as well, someone was owning it. Before that as well, someone was owning it. Before that, someone was owning it. Before that, some king has shown his ownership over that land. Before that, some other king has shown his ownership of that land. But that piece of land is still lying there. All the person who are claiming their ownership on that land are no more. So you can't own anything in here in this material world. So wasting so much of time and effort, I put so much of hard work and effort, I acquire so much of wealth and I purchase this land, but this land will be there. After 100 years, it will be belonging to someone else, then to someone else. You may be thinking, oh, but at least I have done it for my kids. But the kids also, after 50, 60 years, they will also die. Then again, other person will die. No one will own anything. If you think that something can be passed down to, by the nature's arrangement, no one can even pass down to the future generations as well. If that will be the case, then the descendant of Mughal emperor, they are having a tea stall in front of Agra, in Agra's Taj Mahal. They're running a tea shop, even though their grandparents, ancestors were the rulers, Mughal rulers. Or we talk about any living entity. So many living entities are there. We all are there. our parents, then their parents and parents and parents are there. But what we have inherited, maybe some small land, some house, or things like that. But from millions of generations have already been passed, from passing on of so much generation, what we have inherited is insignificant. If everyone can inherit all their million generations inheritance, then everyone will be super rich, everyone will be having all the opulence. But that's not the case. Why? Because everything is being governed by the mother nature, mother earth. According to your pious activities, you suffer and enjoy. If you do some very nice pious activities, you will automatically be born in a rich family, you will have opulences. But that also, as you start enjoying it, slowly and gradually, the punya that you have done, the pious activities you have done, the result of that start depleting, and then you again come to the same situation. That is same as the even the case with the demigods. Demigods, uh, after enjoying for, even though their lifespan is long, after enjoying for long, they will again fall down to this earth. And if they will not act nicely, then even to the lower planetary systems. So, so, so the point is that millions of birth you all have taken. In all the birth, whether you have taken of an animal or whether you have taken of a bird and beast, all this sleeping, eating, mating, defending, the arrangement for all this is already being there. So you don't have to just spend all your energy in how sophisticatedly you can sleep, eat, mate, and defend, but come out of it and think that how I can be safe from this birth, old age, disease, and death. And that is only possible by doing pure devotional services to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So right now, whatever situation you may be in Grahastha ashram, um, or you may be in bachelor life, whatever it will be. You can keep Krishna in the center of all your activities. Whatever you are doing, keep Krishna in the center. Whatever you are eating, offer it to Krishna before, then accept it. Whatever activities you are doing, you may be earning some wealth. Use it to further strengthen your Krishna consciousness. Um, you have little time, you want to read something, you want to enjoy something. There are so many literatures given by Srila Prabhupada, by ISKCON. So many books are there, you can read it, you understand about yourself. Rather than trying to understand, oh, this actor has done this actress has done this. All these low grade literature, rather than reading all this, watching Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everyone trying to become social influencer, giving you some or the other gyan, some or the other knowledge. But in reality, that's not real knowledge. They are not knowledgeable. They are on the bodily platform. What gain you will get hearing them? If you have some time, you really are very much interested in YouTube and all those things, you just hear what Srila Prabhupada is saying, what all the authorized bona fide spiritual masters are saying, what the pure devotees are saying, what the senior devotees are saying, what the Vaishnavas are saying. And then you will understand your situation, your position. So the tendency to read is there. If you don't read scriptures, then those propensity will be utilized in reading all so much of nonsense newspaper, novels, comics, so many things. So you just have to change all your propensities to Krishna consciousness, because that is the ultimate aim of this human form of life. So I hope this is clear to you. If any questions you are having, Prabhu, you can raise it right now. If not, then you can just read Preaching is the Essence. You can hear me, Prabhu? Okay, so I'll read Preaching is the Essence. The devotee who, out of compassion, preach are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. A pure devotee of the Lord, like Brahma, and person in his disciplic succession, are always unhappy to see the perplexities of the conditioned soul, who are suffering the onslaught of the threefold miseries which pertain to the body and the mind, to the disturbance of material nature, and many other such material disadvantages. The devotee of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. So we can see like how Srila Prabhupada at the advanced age, he has all the knowledge, he can retire peacefully from in Vrindavan. He can have gone back home, back to Godhead, but he took so much of trouble to give this knowledge to all of us because he wanted all of us to get out of this material life, the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So similarly, we should all try to understand the science perfectly and try to give it to others as well. And if we do that, we become very dear to Krishna. We get more and more realization. We get more and more understanding of this science. Yeah, Prabhu, you have any questions?
No, Prabhu, at this point.
Okay. Thanks a lot for attending today's session, Prabhu. So
Yes, Prabhu.
we'll meet next weekend. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.